This is the Segovia Show.
Hey YouTube, it's Andres coming at you with another video, and in this one I gotta make a case for BlackBerry. Yes, the BlackBerry that everybody knows but isn't widely appreciated, and I still have these phones for a reason, because I never know when I'm gonna do a fallback on these, and I wish it was something that I could still use today, but a lot of the stuff on that unfortunately is not compatible with today's standards on the, from the browser to applications and stuff like that, and of course the needs that I need, as a lot more companies that don't want to develop apps have moved to web apps. Well, some of that needs to be run on the modern browser, not the old stuff that's found on these. But anyway, I'm trying to make the case for BlackBerry itself because it's primed for this kind of times that we're in. With increased government surveillance, the concerns that citizens have about how much more of our information is being taken or looked over by the government and all this and that. Look, I'm not going to put on a tinfoil hat right now. I'm just going to talk about the reality of things. In the United States, we had the NSA for some time, and that's before the Patriot Act. So I'm not surprised by the increased grab, but there's just certain things that have been occurring that, like, you know what? That's why I don't really like to use an iPhone and an Android, because of those very concerns. It's nice to have a BlackBerry powered Android because they harden the kernel, but when they don't update it as often, it still makes it susceptible to some kind of break-in. I haven't heard much of any, I guess, hacks towards BlackBerry specific Android devices, but Android itself, plenty. Ooh, plenty of that. But recently, we found out that also iOS has been hacked since 2014, affecting a wide range of devices from iPads, iPods, and iPhones. And people were none the wiser. It's like, oh my goodness, how long have our data been out there? Look, I've been targeted myself a lot of different times, different ways in hacking over the past decade, but mostly over the past 2 years as I've become more public out there. Not so much because I'm a public figure, but because I'm literally out there. So it's a little crazy. And once the lockdown started, I'm like, when I saw that coming, I'm like, man, we're gonna seriously need more provisions to take care of our data, because the sharks have been waiting for all this fish this whole time. It's like, holy smokes, it's Christmas. And sure enough, a lot of people that I know had their identity stolen. It's been a crazy, crazy time for cybersecurity. That's why I've been preaching about it. That's why I wish I still had an Android that could keep up with me, that I can use on a daily basis, for this very reason. That's why I only do whatever I'm able to do. And for those of you that are not really Samsung fans, that's kind of why I have a Samsung, because there's Samsung Knox, which, if I'm not mistaken, was actually technology in partnership with BlackBerry for a time. So I don't know what it is like now, but it was something that BlackBerry was involved in some capacity. So it gave me some kind of trust in that. Having said that, there's always the concern about something else. Due to the current pandemic, we have these crazy concerns over 5G itself. I'm Look, come on, folks. This is crazy. But this is mostly affecting the UK. But recently, I saw that it happened in Canada. There were some celebrities talking about it in Hollywood that were basically encouraging people to take some action against some towers. I mean, that's ridiculous, folks. 5G towers. Look, I'm not even going to get into that whole conspiracy theory. All I'm going to tell you is that up until this recording, there was 77 mobile towers burned in the UK. I Everybody's trying to find some kind of excuse to basically point to where the whole origin of the thing that's going around the world originated from. I know where it came from. China lied, people died. And it's along those lines that I do wonder. 5G was really being provided by Huawei in Europe. Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? But outside of that, that's not my main concern. My main concern has been this. And I'm going to go back to the beginning. This is from Reuters, and it's called contact tracing. And I'm going to let them do the explaining.
What is contact tracing, and how can it help stop the spread of infectious diseases?
Contact tracing is a traditional public health strategy that dates back to the 30s. It's used to control the spread of communicable diseases. The idea is that somebody who has a communicable disease is diagnosed and reported. The health department talks to that person, understands who they've been in contact with.
The basic idea is simple. Track down infected people, then find everyone who has been near them and encourage those people to stay home until it's clear they are not sick.
Okay. So Reuters says it like it's whatever. There's a reason why this video is getting ratioed the way it is, because it's actually happening here in California. Ventura County is just north of Los Angeles, literally right next to it. They announced about a week ago that they're going to be deploying the contact tracing in that county, and that the whole state's going to do it, and other states are going to be doing it too. Some people were praising South Korea for how quickly they were able to get a handle on the virus. Well, that's easy because South Korea turned to North Korea to end up doxing their own residents. And that's the thing. In the United States, that's not something that's done. This is a complete infringement of privacy. I'm well aware of the NSA. Hello, NSA. There's nothing new. And you know who's doing the doxing too? Big tech corporations. So they've been silencing me on this channel. I'm not even talking about any of this stuff. I'm only talking about business items, but some business items can be construed as political cannon fodder. So I've been silenced on certain things. Some of my videos have been taken down. Other ones I've been getting some copyright complaints that make absolutely no sense, but I have no recourse to dispute that, which is ridiculous. And it's along those lines that all my requests to YouTube for responses have been met by deaf ears, and it's been really frustrating on that part, because that's why I haven't been able to do as much of an effort to put out more of the content that I had on the backlog to do, because they are stopping me. Especially my first anniversary video, that was such a depressing time for me. I put so much heart into that video only for it to be demonetized and eventually unlisted by YouTube. No excuses for it. And every single post that I did after that, all of them silenced and demonetized. Now, those disputes I was able to get back, and as of now, you can go see my first anniversary episode. But like, why did that happen in the first place? And there's some other stuff that they didn't return, but there's no explanation as to why. It's like, come on, man. But when it comes to this, contact tracing and what's going on, yes, you have a right to be concerned about that, especially if you live in the United States. You know, there's more or less some kind of like surveillance going on in Europe, mostly the UK. But the thing is, over here, this is not something that actually happens in the United States, at least not legally. And this was just being in your face, and they're trying to use the current situation to exploit it, to deploy such things, which is why I still hold on to these guys. But I can only use it for communication and very basic things. For business, I still got to use an Android and iPhone. And I prefer Android in that sense. Which is why I'm like, you know what? Well, what does BlackBerry got? So I go to BlackBerry.com. And when you go to BlackBerry.com, you get to, what is this? You get to their homepage that looks, I'm going to refresh this. You get to their homepage, and it looks like a color scheme that's straight out of the early 2000s, man. And you got to get modernized. You have a modern web page with a bland color scheme. Obviously, it's not targeting consumers. And I'm like, I don't see anything here about products or services that are available for someone like me, a consumer or a small business, because you have to be a large corporation or a mid-sized corporation to even get any of these benefits. And when you go here, it's like, where's anything? When you go to products, you finally find devices somewhere buried over here, which will then lead you over to this page of secure devices that are at least 2 years old. Not worth buying because all these are regular prices. Makes no sense. And when it comes to the Evolve, they're not even sold here. They're sold in India. And I think Tech Odyssey did a video on this, getting the hands on the device, which I think he liked the device, but it doesn't work in the United States. The bands just don't match with what's available here. So you can't get any mileage out of that per se. And with all these other phones not being supported anymore, then you're really SOL. Which is why I bring up the case for why BlackBerry needs to step up. BlackBerry, this is your time. You still have the BlackBerry 10 OS, and it's prime opportunity for you to restore and bring this back. What about the apps? Let's leave aside the apps for now. If you build it, they will come as an expression that was used because of the Field of Dreams. But in this situation, where the news is talking about government taking away people's rights to privacy, rights to control their own information, especially what's out in the ether. This is what you were bred for. This is what you do. Corporations handle sensitive data for the consumers, but who's looking after the consumers? You know, like when this whole face app about how would you look, in 50 years from now, when you do this with the app, take a picture of your face and it ages you. And like, oh my goodness, so funny, share it with everybody. Then the news. This all went to a Russian database. There's no such thing as free, folks. That's it. When people go from like from Android to iOS, and like, oh my goodness, you gotta pay for the app. Ugh, I don't want that. Then they jump to Android. Oh, the app is free, and if there's someone charging on the app, it's like, how come this app isn't free? What do you think they're doing with your free information that you're giving them? You think Facebook is free? Twitter? Google? Any of its services? Hello, what platform are you in? Nothing is free, folks. That's why I paid for my apps on BlackBerry, and I still can use most of them. But this is the opportunity for BlackBerry. BlackBerry, this is a plea to you. With your resources and concerned individuals, this is your prime time to seize on the market that's clamoring for your devices. We wanted to trust TCL. BlackBerry, you did the better job at building hardware. It's the software where you always screwed up. Get it done right. We are waiting on the wings. There are subscribers of mine that continue to hold onto the devices years later. Because they're waiting for the next BlackBerry. In vain, it's kind of like waiting for the Snyder Cut. Those into cinema know what I'm talking about. But this is what you were made for. We need you, BlackBerry. You're our only hope. So hopefully you abide. I have a lot of background noise. I hope that is not being picked up. But anyway, that's it for this one. It's a plea for BlackBerry. We need you badly. Let me know what you guys think of this comment description down below. Let's see how long YouTube keeps this up, because I don't know what the heck they're doxing or they're leaving up or demonetizing or whatever, because it's a moving goalpost. They always move it, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's it for this video. Like, share, subscribe, stay to know, and I'll see you on the next one.